Committee meeting for Thursday, January 25th, 2024, at the Bucksport Office Council Chambers. I'm going to go through a couple of these first.
Yep.
The attendance, Larry Wall,
Here.
Stephen St. Peter,
Here.
Mark Eastman,
Here.
Linda Moore,
Here.
Christopher Johnson, here. What we'd like to do is, Mark has come in and offered to be chairperson.
I don't have to be.
Is there anybody else that thinks they would like to try to be chairperson here for this job here? Okay, and I'm gonna move, that was item F in the discussion items. And I decided with Mark's request to move this right to where we are right now, move it up, so that Mark can be chairperson immediately. Is there any concern about that?
No.
Okay.
No, I nominate Mark.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, raise a hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You want to do it?
Sure.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chris.
I will still
I fell
do-
short last 2 times, but I'm okay this
Right.
time.
I will still do minutes. I will still do that stuff, and
Good.
this allows him to be chair. And thanks for representing the council
Sure.
again.
Yep.
Because I was worried that you weren't gonna come back, and I thought he's gonna skip town on us, really. So like,
No, I wouldn't do that. We'll
All
see if we
right.
get other participation, but I wouldn't do that. So, item 3, approval of minutes from the October 12th, 2023 meeting. Any questions?
these minutes,
Well,
Mr. Chairman, these minutes have been up for a couple of weeks now, so, and I did get your thing on the agenda, made that change, but there were no requests that I
Nope.
saw coming about the minutes, so.
A motion to approve, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Introduction of Miss Elizabeth Ash Snow.
Thank you, Captain.
Come on up here, Miss Snow. Thanks for coming in.
I'm pleased to be here. Susan and I have had some nice conversations, and she's helped me a great deal in accomplishing this very wonderful marker that we're going to install in June, on June 22nd, in the Veterans Cemetery. And the town has, through the cemetery committee, has been very generous in helping this happen and partnering with us. I assume that she has given you some pictures, but this is, you haven't, okay. I'll give this to you to kind of pass around.
Okay.
And this is with the actual name of the town of Bucksport, Maine. And what it says is Revolutionary War Patriots. This marker commemorates men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in the noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to found a new nation, 1775 to 1783. Presented by the town of Bucksport, Maine, and Ramasoc Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States, which we will be celebrating in 2026. And this is part and parcel of some of the plans for the American, I've got the name right here, semi-quincentennial is
No, try to
what
get that
the
one.
United, I had to write that down because it probably would never stick in my memory long enough to get it out. The 250th anniversary of the United States. And what this marker does is it commemorates all of the patriots who fought in the American Revolution and created our country. They were brave enough to stand up in among other people who didn't want to leave England, and here they stood up and risked their lives and fortunes, literally, and created a new country. independent of England. So there are a lot of people that are buried out in their backyards and in the cow pasture back of the house or the barn, and you know, we can't mark them all, but this recognizes them. And it's a nationwide effort, which is going to happen throughout these years that we have before our 250th anniversary, and I believe it will happen until 2033. Because these people were the reason we became independent. And the United States Semi-Quincentennial Company, our group, decided that they had to recognize this. And I'm glad they did. And Bucksport and this cemetery committee and Susan has made this possible for this wonderful Veterans Memorial. It's really, from start to, as Susan said, it's complete now. It's from start to now, to present, recognizing all of our veterans. And I think this is tremendously important, and so did our national historian, and they sent great approval for this. We were the first one approved in the state of Maine. There is one more going in up at the Burnham Tavern up in Machias, the end of July. It's going to be a 3-day event. The national president general of our organization, Daughters of the American Revolution, will be there for all 3 days. Our state regent attended our Jacob Buck marking, and you've met her, Linda, and Susan met her, and Chris met her, and she invited the President General to this one, and told me that, and nearly gave me a heart attack right there, because that would be pretty extensive as far as hosting her and so on and so forth. But this is really special too, because our state regent is coming with her state contingent, and there should be around 20 of them. But this will get national attention also to the town of Bucksport and that wonderful Veterans Memorial Gardens and Cemetery.
Wasn't it true, Elizabeth, that this is the only one thus far in which a town has partnered with a DAR?
It is
organization?
you're sponsoring us in this, and this is and speaking with the man who is very much with it, he supplies all of the nation's patriot markers. This is it. He's the only supplier, and it's Dick Stein, and he said this was the only town they had seen that would sponsor a marker and help get that in, along with the chapter that is, our chapter is of Bucksport, Maine, period. We're registered in Bucksport, Maine, and we will be a 50-year chapter in about 2 more years also. So we will be celebrating that as well. But hopefully June 22nd will be a pretty special day, and I was hoping to get some faces connected with some names here, and I finally did. And I thank you very much. It's very nice. And
We have received the marker. The marker is already resident. We have it in storage, so that we're not in a position of, oh, it didn't arrive, or it didn't get made, or it didn't got lost in transit. We have already received it. It's in storage until it gets placed prior to the event on the 22nd of June.
the placement is where your flags are. And I was looking at this corner right here. If you looked at it from the walkway, you would be able to read it from the walkway.
Oh, cool.
It would not be in the way of anyone walking, and that's what Mr. Stein said you need to pay attention to how high you put it, because he said if you put it too low, somebody is bound to run their head into that bronze plaque. It's a 3 by 3 foot plaque. It weighs
Wow.
612 pounds.
Wow.
It comes with a 7-foot pole,
Oh, my God.
and
Wow.
then the plaque itself is 30 by 30, which is, and you can see what it says on it, and that would hurt.
Yeah, it would.
You whacked it might knock you cold.
Yeah.
But the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution is involving itself thoroughly with this celebration, and we're so pleased that Bucksport and this cemetery committee has really put out the red carpet here and is really supporting that effort. And it will not go unacknowledged at National. We also have the ability to put that on a national map. We can put Bucksport Veterans Cemetery, where that marker is, on a national map, which is accessible, I would assume by computer, and have that listed along with all of the other markers nationwide that will be placed. They will be putting one, I think, at the Boston Tea Party at the Boston Museum this spring. They'll be putting a marker there. And they're trying, and Burnham Tavern is one of the first naval battles of the Revolutionary War happened up there. So that's another one. And so there'll be one here too,
Oh, yes.
which is pretty special.
Burnham Tavern is neat, if anybody has not gone through it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
One of our sister chapters does that. So, that's about what I have to say. I just I have to tell you that I was walking down at the gazebo on the walkway with my group, and we met at the gazebo for a meeting. And we spied this neat little rock called Stone that, and it had Colonel Jonathan Buck, a little bit of something about him on that. And we thought, well, gee, we could put a 250 marker right next to it on a stone. And I was looking at a small one. And I have to have permission of the town to do this, right? So I'll go and talk to the town manager and see what she says. Well, this is what she said. Let's do it. Let's do the big one for the cemetery. For the
We're not gonna
veterans.
settle for a little rock next to.
She won't settle for a little one.
Very
Um,
good.
What other activities, we had talked about this being an opportunity to showcase some other things at the same time. Jonathan Buck's, our revolutionary, is across the street pretty much from
Right.
this. Had we thought about, certainly advertising it so people can come at the time of the presentation, but, any ideas of what other things?
Well, we can identify certain items, I think, in the Historical Society, and maybe open up the Historical Society. Are we open in June?
You open in July?
July,
August.
August.
Well, still, we could have
We
it
could
on the
do it.
22nd, we could be
Okay.
open.
Oh, absolutely.
And identify certain Revolutionary War items that are in there, well, Colonel Buck's cane or whatever.
Mhm.
I think this is important. I really do, and
Mhm.
And
I
it-
think that this is the kind of thing that I would be impossible for me to know those little details like that, because I'm not right involved with it, but here we go.
And
I like
as well as identify the flags will be up on the graves by then, probably not,
Right.
but they might be. Of course, there's the Revolutionary War veteran in Lawrence Cemetery, who was also a British soldier at one time. That's why you go up there and it's got both flags up there, which is really neat. But certainly, maybe the restaurants could have a Revolutionary War menu or something, or something on their menu that reflects something. But see if the merchants can be recognizing this as well with some sort of, I don't know, I'm free thinking here, so
I
excuse me
love
if we
this,
see
Chris,
smoke
yes.
coming out of my
This
ears.
is nice.
Yeah, no, I think that if the Historical Society could be open and we could direct people, that would be good for the Historical Society as well
Mhm.
as for this particular
I think we can manage that.
We-
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no
event.
problem.
I'm thinking maybe having something at the library as well.
Not a bad idea.
Good idea.
Maybe have someone dress up as a Revolutionary War person, give a presentation before you actually unveil the plaque and stuff, possibly.
They have Sons of the American Revolution,
Okay.
and that would be my hope, that I could get hold of a group for Sons of the American Revolution. However, it's difficult because we don't have a lot of these fellas left.
Right.
I do know the lady who is the state chair of SAR. I would like to have her husband, involved with it. And, they're all getting older. And so you never know if they're able to do some of this. And then the younger ones, I'm not sure. She has younger ones, but she's up towards Orrington yet. They have a group up there that meets, so I think.
Maybe we
We
could ask the fort if what their,
Yeah, I think we,
Fort Knox, we
Wouldn't that
could,
be neat if
That would
we
be-
could have them fire a cannon
Hmm.
or something up there?
I guess my question, I'm sorry, I
Go
interrupted.
ahead, Chris.
My question is, are you the point person for the town on this? And if that's fine, I just try to understand how this is worked for. Okay, that's great, and so anything we come up with, we should go,
We should-
go through you?
ideas and
Okay.
I'll tell you the same thing I tell people at work, don't just bring me a problem, bring me some potential
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
solutions.
No, I
So if
understand.
you bring me an idea, I need some idea about how it's gonna get implemented,
Right.
cause I
And
can,
who's gonna implement it, because it won't be Susan.
no, I think she's
There's
stretched pretty
no-
thin.
There's no further, we could get her a backpack, but I'm not sure.
She needs a clone, not a backpack.
Yeah.
No, I do understand that, that's my concern too, is how do we manage this?
well, I think that by being reasonable, I know the library is very capable and they're looking to showcase, at least it's my understand,
Yes.
all of the
Mhm.
things that they're doing, so I
Yes.
think,
I think the museum also could get
Yes.
a group together to
Oh,
make a
absolutely.
presentation.
Yes, and we know where our revolutionary relics or artifacts are down there. I mean, we've identified
Right.
those, the paperwork, the cane,
Yeah,
the transit
Transit.
and all that stuff.
Now,
But I'm sure Dean at the fort would,
absolutely,
we
Yeah.
would,
be,
yeah.
and I know that, I so enjoyed that encampment and the
Mhm.
whole thing they do there. And I don't know, but, it was a naval battle that occurred out here, and they burned Bucksport pretty
Yeah, I
bad.
remember reading about that, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't something you celebrate, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, everybody
Crossroad
ran for
expedition.
cover that
Yeah.
Yep.
was against England, and the rest of them stayed for a while, and then England lost, and people came back and rebuilt.
Mhm.
But meanwhile, there was a lot of history going on right here.
Yep.
Okay, so
Little
we have
area, and that's
represent-
why the fort was built, was it not?
Historical Society, can you guys see what you can come up with that might happen there?
sure.
And Larry, you're on the library board, right? Would you ask Lisa, that would be great.
I can reach out to Dean if you're looking to.
That would be good if you did that. And then the idea of getting the merchants, or letting them know, that we're gonna be having something, that they had something, some sort of menu thing or some.
Flag in the window, or just a
flag,
sign,
something.
we're not asking
Yeah,
for
maybe.
anything great here, just.
No,
they're
just so
interested.
that they're open and
Yeah.
available for people who might wanna
And then.
come to town and make this more than
Yep.
a one-stop
Yeah.
thing. It would, because we've now got the thing that Main Street Bucksport did with the
Museum of the Streets.
museum, we've
Yeah,
got Museum
Museum
of the
of the Streets.
Streets, that people can follow. We've got the library, we've got the Historical Society. Local businesses on a Saturday are open, that, you know, our food people are around. I don't know what kind of, if we wanted a boat, who would we get?
Well, we might
Hmm.
talk to Maine Maritime.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I did ask about sailing ship, but it's going to be north in Alaska.
Oh,
Wow.
So that one is out. You know, that's a
A cemetery tour, something of that nature,
Yep.
Revolutionary
That's
War.
a good idea, yeah.
They're scattered all around, but
But even if we were centered in downtown, Bucks,
it's right there.
right there.
Oak Hill's got
Oak
Yeah.
Hill is right up there, and,
Yeah.
We'll be hopefully doing things with Oak Hill about that time, hopefully.
but it would be good to, for people to see what we're doing
I think so.
as a work in progress,
Yeah, I agree.
instead of it's all done and doesn't look
No,
cute,
I
because
agree.
that work in progress indicates the town's efforts to maintain its cemeteries.
And then we could expand it into Torrin Linda's house across the street.
Said
Right.
never again.
Well, there's Wilson Hall on the
houses.
Yeah,
hill.
Wilson Hall, yeah.
Right after that.
That's a good idea.
So I think that we've got, there's a number of things here that I think could tie together.
And this doesn't tie, but I think the Tour de Lacs that weekend too. If anybody has any brainstorming with that,
That would be great.
would be some people. I think it's that weekend.
Is it,
Excellent.
is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
I believe that's a Saturday morning, early.
Early.
It may not fit, but I just thought, I looked it up and it
Yeah,
was
we
the
can fit
25th
it.
a couple of years ago.
We'll have, I'll go around on it, no, I won't go around on a bike, no, forget it. But that, I think that's great, just start getting these things all together.
Yeah, and if we,
Keep in touch.
if we keep it focused on doing 5 or 6 things well, as opposed to having a list of 20 and
Yep.
not having them, you
Right,
know,
and
have,
having it kind of scattered, just
yeah, focused
so that when
in.
you advertise, you've got these things, this
Yeah,
is your
that
central.
the advertise, you know, visit this, you know, the Historical Society is doing a presentation, the library is doing an event,
Right.
that people can, and then the unveiling and you
Yeah.
know, all of that
I wanna make
is
sure
a-
that's paramount, that
that
we
is,
don't-
Yeah.
that everything
that's
else is under that as far as importance goes. And I don't know how to do that, but make sure that we don't eclipse that event with all these other things we're doing here.
What time of day are we looking at for this unveiling?
I think, I was hoping at about 1 o'clock, but we're, you know, that would give everyone chance to travel.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
a Saturday is always hard traveling anyway, because of everybody going for the groceries and the kids are out of school.
Mhm.
And it would get it over with early afternoon and time to do things afterwards.
What's the parking capacity now? Do we know what it is? at that
I don't know what that,
and don't- you
specific
mean
ones.
down there?
Down
At-
at the memorial there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably 30.
I'm
Maybe.
we
thinking
could encourage to
25 to
park
30
here
minutes.
too and
But,
walk
but
down.
we've got
You got the library
parking
park.
behind this building that
Yeah,
is
I just brought us
walkable
into
right
the
down
weeds. I
there.
didn't mean
Mhm.
to do that, but it occurs to me.
No, true, and there's, in the same way that every event we have ends up being on-street parking.
Yeah.
All the way up and down Main Street, that kind of thing.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
It is.
I think
Thank
it's
you.
exciting.
Thank you.
Well, and my,
Books could have a display
I
in
had
their
a-
window of Maine history
Hmm.
and.
That's, yeah, under the merchants, that's a great idea. If you're not selling food, maybe you could just have, you know,
Right.
Is
a
there,
display in the,
do you think we could get permission to put flags up on the poles?
Hmm.
you mean just
Just
the
for that
temporary ones, yeah. Because the only, not everything's lighted, not everything's, we've wrestled this one a bunch of times, that
Yeah.
we don't wanna use a flag as a decoration. we want it to
This would
be,
be in
It's a real
celebration.
Meaningful.
but this is a celebration, this is a different, this is an event,
This is
not an
showcasing
ongoing.
Bucksport.
Yeah.
And also, this is also something that the state regent will be here with her people that are also going to be having some dedication, and I will ask her to be dedicating also. And she will be sending this out in her Gmails to the nation, and her emails, whatever. So this will be something, and pictures, there will be pictures.
Sounds good.
And I was hoping that I could get my buddy that I had in high school, possibly, to Brian Sullivan, on Channel 5, to come on
Right.
down and throw a little blurb on TV for us.
The media is very good to us.
Yes, they
We,
are.
Yeah, they
we
are.
are, we, the Bangor Daily pays attention.
Super.
And
And Channel 2 does
Channel
too.
7, 5, 2, we
Yeah.
get them all. They're,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we're close, Larry is is the
Yeah,
most
it was-
recent
it was
Yeah.
all over the
feature
press,
in the
yeah.
Bangor Daily on the saving of Wilson
Good.
Hall, but,
Sold that paper out real fast.
Yeah.
People,
but I think that certainly the media will count,
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
especially if we have that as the center, but there's all these other
Other
things
things
going on
happening.
as well, and it gives us an event here at a time that we don't generally have.
Well, you get
events
through
going.
graduation, and you get through, the kids
Right.
going off to school in the different areas, and that's the first weekend that parents have free, that I know of.
Hmm.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
Well, I think it's gonna be great.
I do
Yes,
too.
I do too.
And I'm very encouraged, and I may just sit back and watch it happen. This is so good. You guys.
You have
put
enough
it-
organization to do with your chapter and the state people coming and all that. I'm gonna let you worry about those
I
folks.
do, yes, I do, and I will. We will get that
I'll worry
straightened out.
about you worry about them, I will
Got
worry
it.
about everybody else. Okay.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you again for coming in.
Thank
Thank you so
very
much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
You folks, it's very, very nice, and I'm glad to meet you, and thank you.
Pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
It's nice
Same
to
here.
see you
Have a
again.
safe trip
Good
back.
So the, yeah,
I'll see you again.
yes.
So
Whoa.
moving on, discussion items. A is the budget process update.
Budgets, budget review, our budget schedule is on the council for adoption
Be
tonight.
careful though.
And it is, it's, our meetings start review in April, the first of
know.
April.
Scary out
So the budget, would need to be approved by this committee by your March meeting, so it can go to them.
Okay, item 2, Old Methodist Survey update, or item B under 5.
I still don't have an update from
Yeah,
them.
well, Luke's out. I went in again today, but he's obviously outside.
Luke has been sick all
Yeah,
week.
that's what I was.
Oh,
I'm just curious as why we still stick with this particular individual after all this time.
This is the second one.
Hope they've changed.
No,
changed.
this is the second, we went
Okay.
through this with someone who was supposed to and never did, so we engaged this person who has done part of it, but not the on-site.
I can go back to him. I work with him all the time.
Well, again, he works for Plisker and Day, correct?
He does. And I've talked to him about this, Chris, and he said getting help to help get these things done is near impossible. And they're losing more surveyors than they're getting
You
new.
know, I just ran into one with the church next door. I think I shared that with you last time. And I asked him about this, and he said, yeah, we're all busy. But I don't know when the church I don't know when they put that in. It couldn't have been as long, far back as we've asked. So they were able to get a Plisker and Day surveyor in there to do the church location. So I thought, You know, why are we waiting year after year now? It's
I will
getting-
reach out to Alan, and I'm happy to, and see,
We just gotta get going on it, I think.
see what, if he's got any updates on where it's at.
Or can we switch out to somebody else in the Pliskin Day organization that might be able to have his data? I don't know.
If you need somebody to hold a stick, I can do that.
I've offered once, because he said that was the problem, but,
Ah,
let me talk to him, and I will try to bring back an update.
We really gotta get going on it. I mean,
Yep.
it's getting old.
Oak Hill Fence RFP.
I don't have any takers at this point. But that's both good and good, because if you attempt and don't get, you can pick. And we have the one that provided us with the information, that understands the project and has visited. The fact that they chose not to submit doesn't mean they won't do.
Sure, I understand.
So if you don't have an objection, I would look to seeing what their schedule is and getting that kind of an approval on the council's agenda so that it can,
Be fine with me.
No
would that be
Mhm.
okay?
Absolutely, I wanna get going on it. And
Yes.
are you willing to share that RFP, any of that material, so I can put it up, so we can have access to it?
Yep.
If you could do that, or if you could put it up, you know how to put stuff
I
up there
do.
too. And just
do.
throw it up there so we can have access to it.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Item D, Maine Cemetery Association.
I just wanna know if we've had a chance to sign up for that yet.
We haven't, but only because I haven't gone online and done
No,
it.
that's fine. I signed up by sending them a check, and that was 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't heard a thing yet, so I'm thinking that's.
Can you do that online? Can you sign up with them online and pay
I'm
online?
not sure that you can.
I'm sure you can, because
well,
I did.
Is that Maine Cemetery or Maine Old Cemetery?
Yeah, it might be
I
Maine
think you were with
Old
Maine Old Cemetery, yeah.
Yeah.
They have all that, but
Right.
on Maine Cemetery, that you have to send a check to the recording secretary or somewhere in like Wyndham or somewhere down there. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that I can, as soon as I get on there, I'll share stuff, but I thought the towns would still be nice to
Yeah,
have
we
a
should,
check at that.
we should do that. I
'Cause
will.
They do have a lot of stuff, information, they also lobby in Augusta. And that's a whole different subject too, what's the lobbying coming from Augusta now, with the new committees they've set up. So there'll be a lot of things happening, I think, with cemeteries in the state. That's it, I'm done.
Yes, sir.
Can we back up to the Oak Hill?
Yep.
Tree removal?
Mm.
Yes,
Anything- Anything on?
tree removal is, it's on the list for having them done, giving Jay that we're gonna be putting in the fence, we need them down by X is the next step.
Mm.
But we know that they're coming down. Big J's been there.
Right downstairs. Okay. So it's in his court then, pretty much.
I'm sure it's
And,
busy.
the storms that we've been having lately don't help us.
Right.
Because it has created such a backlog of, backlog of work for all of these tree entities that are, prioritizing ones that are laying on people's roofs and blocking their driveways and all that kind of
But
stuff.
not only him, but the town crew as well.
What's that?
The town crew as well,
Yeah.
their cleanup efforts,
Yeah.
You all set, Larry, with that?
yes.
Okay.
The Lawrence Cemetery still has that giant tree down there, and I don't know if Jay's supposed to go after that. You sent it to the Public Works folks.
I did.
Yeah, and nothing's happened. It's really a safety hazard now.
You're saying Lawrence or Lanford?
Lanfair, isn't it?
The Lanford, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was gonna
Lawrence.
say, wait a minute,
Lawrence
I
is
don't
across
remember
the
Lawrence.
Lawrence is across the street.
Across the street.
I think I know all the times I've gone by it. But
Yeah,
that's really a safety hazard in there now.
Yeah.
And whenever they can get to it. One went down in Riverview, and they convinced Jay to go in and clean that one out because it was leaning over about 6 nice stones. So, and we couldn't do it, we didn't want to do it, so he came up quite promptly and removed it, which was nice.
Yep. Okay. So that's Lanford. So item 6, other items not on the agenda for discussion. Does anybody have anything?
Well, this actually goes back to Oak Hill. Chris had requested some information from Whitney Gifford. Total estimate of total hours that she put into the cemetery. So I'll give, I
Thank you.
made copies for everybody.
Thank you
Okay,
very much,
thank you so
Larry. This
much.
is really kind.
And then she,
Here's one for,
I really think this is important for future reference when it comes to getting more work done.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
tell you, the cemeteries, the storms have really knocked the cemeteries
there you
down.
go.
Yes, they have.
Shoot.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, thank you.
I guess these are all one item here.
but I'd asked her as well, if she could list what she has done up there. And she did, so that's the rest of it.
This is great.
She'll tell you every stone that she worked on.
Wow. Just want to thank her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
smartly.
absolutely.
This is wonderful.
Thanks, Larry.
And I think it's a good example of staying on top of it, because you never know who's going in and doing what on these places. And I know they had a gentleman at Riverview who did some volunteer work with his son, and it was, you told me he was what, internet-based or something, that he was.
Well, I don't think that was me. I didn't know.
Was it you? That he was bringing in information, he was getting credit, somehow he's being paid via the internet.
Yes,
Isn't
he came.
Was he the one that came and he's a veteran and he was talking about he'd done a
No.
bunch?
No, that's not him.
His
It's
last name
another
is Horde, I think.
it's
H-O-R-D.
another person, and he came in and he does it, what do they call them? Influencers. You know
Yes.
how influencers
Oh.
Yeah.
That's it.
get,
Hey,
they video themselves doing stuff, and people,
Yeah.
I see.
I think it's called, I am old and not
You're not an influencer?
I'm not an influencer, but
Well-
that's what I believe it's called when they do things and people follow them,
Yeah.
who watch them
Right.
do.
I wish there was more people like that.
The problem with that, though, is that he was active up at Riverview, so when I asked the question, so what did he do? How do you know what he's done? It's important, before you let people come in, whether it's a municipal one or a private one, to do these things, if they just let you know what they have in mind, and also report back. So if the cemetery has a decision to go clean stones, we know that, good chance, we're not gonna have to clean these in the next, 5 or 6 years probably. That information is vital. Anytime anybody goes in and does anything at any cemetery, you need to have a record of it, so that you can keep track of what needs to be done. And from what I've seen, I'd like to
She
get
does amazing work.
I'd like to get a mouth swab or something, we can clone her and get about 20 more of her out there, would be great. This is terrific stuff, and thank her very much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Does a
Larry
great
also
job.
shared this, which
Oh,
I'm
these are
gonna,
before and after photos?
I'm gonna scan those and put those up in
Awesome.
Drive, so you'll all have access to the photos.
Cool.
But what, that list that she did, she tells you which ones she's cleaned, and then she also tells you what, also has to be done with the stone.
Remarkable.
Awesome. I'm gonna keep that in my records.
We put her on the payroll, Larry.
Yeah.
She would like it.
Yeah.
Anything else under other items not on the agenda for discussion?
No, thank you. Thank you for becoming chairperson.
Okay,
And also thank you for serving on this committee.
you're welcome. Item 7, next meeting, February 22nd. Does that work for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
And item 8, adjournment.
And just one question,
Yep.
that the celebration is June 22nd?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You will contact us, right? We should be planning this soon among ourselves as well.
We
What-
should, this,
And
it's
keep in touch
it's
with
Come
them.
fast.
January.
We got different organizations here trying to work it, so it'd be nice to have a good communication system.
Yeah, well, we all understand that whatever you're planning, don't plan it for 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right, that's good.
Because that's when
You know,
Unveiling.
I'm thinking of
that
things like
unveiling
tents,
will be.
tents, and if we need a tent down there, if it's raining or something,
Yeah.
is that gonna be the
That's a good idea.
Oh,
expectation? And you
I got a whole list.
Yeah, all
Oh, you
right.
do?
Thank you.
A whole list.
So is adjournment up? Is that what we get on? up
Yep,
there now?
item, unless anybody else has anything to add.
No.
good.
Okay.
So moved.
Second with Steve?
Yep.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Okay.
At
And then we can
5:08.
put everybody